Stinky Popcorn Boys.
We watch movies and eat popcorn.
Hello. We are the Stinky Popcorn Boys, just some boys talking about movies and how they made us feel. I am Patrick Basquill, and my superhero power, is, make it like essentially, I would say, like calm emotions. Make sure everybody's having a good time at the moment. You know,
The Vibe Doctor.
Yeah, definitely Vibe Doctor.
Your
Maybe
superhero
some
name.
Yeah, maybe some Vibe Doctor, and then like Vibe Doctor, and then maybe some like whatever, like the Sherlock Holmes, like the superpower version of like having a good memory is.
Yeah.
You know, like have a good memory, and then the Vibe Doctor.
Nice. And I'm John Gilardi, and be a little unoriginal, but it's something. It's my answer. It's always been my answer. Is teleportation. So I guess got to take a page out of Huey's book. Only I can teleport with my clothes on and things within a radius of me. So I can take objects. I guess. Like
so
if
you'd
I'm
be
going
a
to
thief.
the beach.
You could do some thiefing.
Well, no.
No,
But
you
now,
don't have
now you got
to.
me.
Just...
Now you got me thinking. But I would use it. So like I want to go to the beach. Hold on to a beach chair. Boof, you know, I can enjoy the thing I go to.
I think
because it's kind of because like if you
Huey
could
can take people.
You can take people, but people become naked because any other like, non-organic matter doesn't transfer. So I want inorganic matter to transfer. So my clothes and things I can touch, and then so that like I don't know, it'd be cool. Like I could teleport to Paris, but I'm gonna be naked, you know. And like you could set up safe houses across the world, but then you have to set up safe houses, you know, and stock them with clothes, and it's just that's too much trouble.
Why?
So
why is it teleportation? Because I know why. Because I have a good, like, again, kind of if we're going with like the idea that things that you're already good at get enhanced or whatever. I
guess I don't know if that falls into that. It's something I've always wanted. I like going places, and the travel kind of is a pain in the butt. And I feel like
that's reasonable though. That's a good answer to that.
And I feel like you could gain so much time by cutting out an hour drive here, 8-hour flight here, all these different things like that. That's my answer. So what are we talking about?
Answer. This week we are talking about that sweet, passionate, reverential show on Amazon Prime, where superheroes are real, but they're controlled by a corporation. It's called the Boys, because there's some boys in it, and it's the name of the comic book it was named after.
Yeah,
right.
It's essentially superhero satire. I guess it's more like it's
a more direct superhero satire.
Yeah, it's the pessimistic kind of like look of what it would really be like, the branding and the control and all that. And it's not only obviously a superhero satire, but really just a satire on like United States or
well, and then media too.
Just everything, the media, politics. So it's fun. It's like it's very akin, actually, I feel like, to GTA in the sense of it just being an overall cultural satire.
It is. I have never made that connection before, but it's definitely like, because it also has that same sort of like reveling in the, like, I mean, again, almost in the same way, they're reveling in the violence of the thing that they're satirizing, where they're like, this is awful, but you're gonna think it's pretty fun. Like, I never made that connection before. That's really cool. It very is GTA, where it's like almost real but not real.
Yeah, it definitely it is in our world, but it isn't. But it feels like an alternate universe, really. Yeah, like things are just a little off. But
I think this season probably felt the most comic booky and like the less like our real life, like the less, because the other ones felt more
because it had
I
all
think,
the different Avengers, whatever the original group was,
yeah,
like the Cold War guys,
payback.
and then like a guy being frozen and coming back later on, stuff like that,
and then being like, yeah, it just like felt the most. And this is honestly not me a knock on it. I think that this is still a really good show, but this one of the 3 seasons that I've seen, this one felt the most hyper real, like where everything like in the closest it's like the even with like in the first episode where the one guy crawls into a dick or whatever, and even with all that
crawled into a ditch, you mean? But then I was like, no, right, a guy crawls into a dick in this show.
Yeah.
There's a guy that can shrink, and he pleasures his boyfriend, I guess, by shrinking.
It's essentially like sounding,
his urethra. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like
I mean, that's
human
how
body.
the season opens.
That's how the season opens. We're not spoiling anything. We're not taking anything too far.
This is not our brains. This is someone else's.
We didn't do this. This is someone else doing this to you, and we're just talking about it. But even with that stuff, this one felt the most like everything got the biggest.
Yeah. I think this season hit on everything. I don't know if that's what you're leading to, but to me overall, if we're talking about the season in broad strokes, I feel like this almost every episode felt like a banger, essentially. Like just great stuff happened, I guess, and great individual moments unlinked to the greater thing or whatever. Like characters developed way more, like Ashley, and I don't know, even the deep's tension was pretty good. It was like he kind of like had like a redemptive arc, I guess, in a sense, where he maybe was kind of coming around. But in this, he's a spineless shill essentially, and I think that's a better characterization than trying to redeem him.
Yeah.
The noir kind of characterization was really interesting, and I think they're gonna have to bring him back because that was a little too unceremonious. And then lastly, A-Train. It's really interesting what they're going to do with him, and what his long arc is going to be. Because for a moment,
do you know what it is?
No, I don't. But within this, they teased that he was gonna kind of he was disenchanted after Homelander yelled at him, and that one new guy was like, "Hey, we're kind of working on trying to kill this guy." But then A-Train rats him out. But it's like there was a moment
and he betrayed him,
like
a little bitch. Sorry.
So it's interesting to see like A-Train and the Deep, how they differ, and maybe like one kind of develops a backbone where the other one doesn't, which is kind of ironic because the Deep likes octopuses and stuff, and
they don't have skeletons,
things that don't have backbones. I don't know. That's not probably intentional, but that's a connection I'm making.
I bet you that is intentional.
Yeah,
I would say that's an intentional. Yeah, I think I don't know. I like lots of stuff. I think that the turn, especially in this last episode, the Soldier Boy turn to taking out his I don't know, I just felt like we got there fast, but I also
the last episode's cliffhanger was like, "Oh, Homelander's my son," and then the next episode starts, and he's just
he calls him, and he's like,
fulfilling
"What's
my
up?"
promise. Yeah, like it doesn't.
He's like,
feel
"Oh, I guess I'm gonna kill my son."
Yeah, and in the moment it's fine because he's a toxic boomer essentially, He's like, "Oh, my boy's a pussy. I would have no boy that's a or whatever he says." And
yeah, he says you're a disappointment. I mean, he's essentially mirroring what he said to Billy the Butcher.
Just Billy Butcher.
Billy Butcher. Oh yeah.
So I understand that, but I think maybe there was something missing where he was still like kind of sussing it out, but you don't really get that vibe. And I think that's a minor tweak.
No, you don't get the vibe.
No, that he like. It's just the cliffhanger, that really sets it up weird because you're like, oh man, it's gonna be Homelander versus. Excuse me, I sneeze.
God bless you.
Oh my god, my headphones fell off. But it was setting up like, oh shit, Homelander versus Homelander and fucking what's his name?
Soldier Boy
character. And Soldier Boy versus the rest of them. Like, cool, like that's fun, and that was interesting. But then it just like kind of went back to the original plot that they were like the conclusion we were always going to, and then the big plot twist was essentially Starlight and Soldier Boy fighting instead, and Maeve and Homelander fighting, and then Billy Butcher kind of hovering in between, protecting the boy. Like it was weird in terms of like a weird unearned thing. Like I mean, the Maeve Homelander fight was earned, but the Starlight thing wasn't, and it doesn't have to always be earned. But it's just a weird build up to then have that be the fight. Yeah.
I really loved the Homelander Maeve fight because she's just like, I just don't care anymore. I don't care about any of this anything. And then she finally did the thing. And I think that's my like main quibble with
Queef.
That's my main queef with this. That's just shock. That's too casual. But my main quibble with this like last episode is they spoiler alert, they like didn't kill anybody. Like
it doesn't commit.
It does. They didn't commit, and then it's like Maeve makes this like great fucking thing, and she's like, "I'm beating the shit out of Homelander. I'm finally doing it." And she sees Soldier Boy about to be like, "Guess what? I'm about to go supernova on these hoes," and she's like, "Guess I'll do it. Guess I'll hero it up, homie." And she jumps out and she heroes it up, and she takes him down, and they blow up half of the building or whatever, and like. But then at the end, Soldier Boy gets carted away. They got him on ice. And then the homies get Maeve, and she's like powerless. And it's like, if Jet Blast goes off.
They established that with.
Yeah, but you know what? Kimiko.
Kimiko. But I think I agree. I think that was weak. I think that was a cowardly move.
Even if Soldier. Like,
as a writer team.
Yeah, like I'm sorry, but if Maeve's not gonna have powers anymore and she's not gonna be a part of the story, then kill her. Like, what do you owe her to have a fake, real good life? Tell a better story. Said the guy.
Yeah. I mean, but I also didn't hate to see it, but I like in terms of the character and the shit she went through, and like
you want
a soup that truly turned the full thing. But I think it was weak to have the big penultimate, not even just the big fight, the climax. Yeah. And the biggest takeaway is the character you wrote off anyways has lost an eye in her powers. And I think there's some good in the fact that it's ambiguous because now you want to know what's going to happen. Where I think season 2 wrapped up the whole storm thing. What's her name? Stormfront story. Pretty like that was wrapped. And so
honestly, I liked how just jump in on that. I liked how unceremoniously that was wrapped up, where she just like bit her own tongue off, and like we didn't see it, and none of it was like this was a big moment that this character deserves a big moment for their death. It's like nope, they died.
Yeah. Yep.
And the way that it was,
I'm surprised they kept her at all, but I guess they used her to like just see more how fucking weird Homelander is. Like his detachment from reality, like he doesn't care who she is or her history. She just gave him attention. and so he loved that, or that like he'll give her that much attention because of that. I mean, speaking of like Homelander and getting away from the like people not dying was stupid thread.
Yeah.
I mean, Anthony Starr usually kind of steals the show with this, but he definitely in this one, like just being ever so more rotten, and then also just unhinged, but also just ignorant and off the, just I don't know even how to put it. It hits every kind of toxic emotion ever, and it's actually a treat to watch. It sounds weird, but it's such a fun performance. It's so ridiculous, and it's just such a good parody of just the shitty shit people do and we're seeing in today, I guess. Yeah. And it feels kind of good to laugh at it in the jesty way that it's presenting itself. And Anthony Starr's performance is great.
Yeah. And I think too that there's sorry.
Go ahead. No, you're good. Go ahead.
No. Well, I was just gonna say, like, it's really fun too to like revel in the insanity and fucking stupidity that is Homelander, but then also like it's such a great character because like you like you like, and this is like I think the note of like good portrayal / good direction, where it's like you understand where he's coming from. It doesn't mean like you understand how he got to where he got, and like I just think it's such a good thing because again, without relating to a racist sociopath, murderer, or whatever, it's like, no, like I get, like that's what happens if you lock somebody in a cage and you just like feed them ideological bullshit and then tell them the best for forever.
Yeah, and because it's hard to forget, or it's easier to forget that in the first season he's truly a puppet and an asset and a product, and so like this episode or this season really is about his autonomy. Yeah, and it is just that, like, what does it look like when someone who has all power and who's been kind of coddled and appeased to in these ways? What does it look like when they get autonomy? And I think we'll truly see that in season 4, because this season ends with him just killing someone who essentially was protesting, I guess. And so I don't know. I think that's a point of no return. But of course, season 4 starts and life goes on as usual, and then it like there's like always that reset of like you always think they like a lot of shows will like kind of wipe the table clean or rather shake up the game board, and then you're like, oh yeah, it's just gonna be crazy, and then the next season the chess pieces are put back upright, and you're like, oh yeah, I mean that's okay. And I don't know, like I hope this doesn't go that way. I really don't. But I mean, unfortunately, I could see it. But
well, and you got to think it is like every time that a season ends, we do sort of reach a like this moment in time. Like basically, like the world continues to exist. Like we see a little bit during, like basically each season is like, oh, the world continues to exist, and then and then it builds back up to this moment. So it's like the world does reset. They find like a sense of normal within the new normal that each new season establishes. Yeah.
Which this one does a lot.
Yeah. But
I think like the optimism.
But I think that's true. Like that's also why it feels so reflective of our real life, is because it does like. I mean, you got to think about now we're like 2 years into COVID, and again, it doesn't feel normal, but it's like. The human, like as a species, it's like, all right, this is the system that I'm in. So I like it'll take me a little bit, but I'm gonna get used to this pattern or this like thing of the world, especially if like my day to day is not affected too much. And so it is like real life in that sense, where it's like, yeah, okay, yeah, that was pretty crazy, but I'm just gonna keep going.
That's my favorite part of them. Not my favorite part, but even when they don't acknowledge it or try to explain it, is like how do everyday people live in this world? And I think the comics do a better job of capturing that. in The Boys, or especially the first season when it's all about like perception and media and all that stuff, where they're like, oh, this is 3 points of positive, whatever. But it's just, I don't know, it's fun. And they try to do that in Marvel a little bit with the blip and stuff too. But I mean, Marvel truly deities these people, because you really don't see the people in those stories at all, honestly. And if you do, it's because they're a kid at a state or at a World's Fair, and then they become the superhero later on. Like shit like that. And this, you get a little bit of taste of it, especially because the boys are normal people, like not superheroes. And I think that's refreshing that in what this show delivers. And then even Invincible does the same thing, and I think we can bring up Invincible, which are both Amazon shows. It's interesting. Amazon has like these two kind of satirical,
especially with the
stuff.
Bad Supermans. There's been a lot made of the rich bald billionaire owning properties that are like, Superman's not all that great.
Yeah, well, and did you see that bright red something?
Are you talking about Bright?
Red.
I'm thinking it's Bright with that James Gunn directed or James Gunn produced with Elizabeth Holmes.
Yeah, it was that, whatever that movie was that had like, it was like Smallville Superman, but the kid's evil. Brightburn, that's it. And that movie was not good. But like it's just something that people like to keep doing. It is compelling. Like, what if Superman wasn't good? And
I think that Homelander. I think that my favorite take on it is Omni-Man, especially like the sort of like the direct Superman comparison, like the Alien. I think that Omni-Man is maybe my favorite. And I think that Homelander is kind of like he's supposed
to be like a Captain America Superman mix.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. He's like a Captain America Superman mix. Look at that.
Wow.
Well, I was about to say that. I was just about to say that.
Bonkers.
Bonkers, baby.
But then it's interesting because then Soldier Boy comes in, and he's definitely very Captain America-y. Mm-hmm. But he has like a radiation blast power. But besides that, he's Captain America with the shield.
But I think that's new. I think that that's a new party.
Soldier Boy.
That's a new power. No. Soldier Boy's not new, but I think that his radiation blast is new.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense. It's probably just to, honestly, be a plot device for resetting powers on people.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, jumping from
jump all around, dude.
Hero to hero.
We got 8 episodes to talk about.
Also did a great job of being kind of like an entertaining, despicable archetype of of a person, I guess. And I think they could have done more with the fish out of water stuff, but it was fine ultimately. Like I wasn't left wanting more out of necessity, but I like out of fun, I guess.
John likes it, but I think that was the point, unfortunately, with that they couldn't, like, I think that would have humanized them too much. Like if they had done too much, they would have done too much like fish out of water, like goofy stuff with him and Huey.
Be too quirky.
It would have been too quirky. They just needed to make him like an absolute bozo. Like they just needed to do the bad guy stuff. And
I think they represented him pretty well within that. Like in that, like you're right. But not to humanize him, but I would want more like inconsequential conversations between them. Like they spend a lot of time together. And all you really get from that is that what you see is just the highlight conversations, and it's like, what do they do when they're not having these big conversations? Are they just sitting in silence? Are they just appeasing him so he doesn't explode? I didn't need his humanity, but I just needed some variation of their interaction, because it was always them appeasing him or them discussing the mission.
Yeah,
and it moves. There's no waste of time, so it's not ultimately a bad thing. But it's a trio of characters that spend a lot of time in this season together, and they don't have like a human moment or any like kind of just being dudes, I guess.
Yeah.
And so that's and they even like collect like they have their moment together where they partner up and take Homelander, and ultimately he escapes, but like that could be even a moment of camaraderie or something,
It would have been cool. It would have been cool to see them like come out of that fight and be like, and if Soldier Boy had been like, hey, so what you need to do next time is so like when you're coming in for like the grapple, you really got to get underneath the arm instead of trying to go over top, because then you're able to sort of leverage yourself. And then Huey can be like, oh, okay. Yeah, I guess
like
that makes
good,
sense.
Like
just
moment
something,
of banter.
yeah, something like that. That would have been, would have been really funny to me. I thought that would have been really good.
That's all I was missing.
That's all it was. How did you feel about Huey?
Together.
Like in general,
he's been more annoying. I think he was fine this season largely.
I think this was Huey's weakest season.
Really?
Yeah, and it's funny because I think that this was like his weakest season as far as performance goes. Obviously, this was the strongest season as far as having the Temp V stuff, but I feel like as far as like what they wrote for him, and I don't know, maybe because, and it's funny because I think that this is the first time that I essentially watched it week by week, because I watched like the first 3 episodes, I think, after Sea of Thieves, like Witcher weekend.
Yeah.
And I thought that it was all out. And I was like, all right, here we go. I'm gearing up for the day. I'm gonna watch.
I think we talked about this in an episode.
Yeah, I think we did. But and then it was like, oh no, those were the only episodes.
You got bamboozled.
I got bamboozled. So then I sort of like ended up watching it weekly the way that it's supposed to.
Yeah, Fridays felt like a good time to have a show ready to go. I guess like you could watch it that Friday because hey, Friday's got that fun Friday vibes, or you got it for the weekend,
Yeah.
Or if you have a busy weekend and you don't watch it till later in the week, and then guess what? Only a few days till the next episode. So yeah, I don't know. I think Friday's a good release day for.
Is that you petitioning Disney Channel or Disney Plus to start releasing their stuff on Friday again?
Yeah, I mean,
instead
why not?
Of Wednesday?
I don't think there's really no point in.
I think the Wednesday
having midweek releases with these streaming shows. There's none at all, and I don't know. Maybe they have the data. Like people are home still on those days,
yeah.
But
I think that Loki rated really really high on Wednesday, and so I think that they're like, oop, yeah, we're just gonna do that.
I mean, they got the info. I don't, but
they got the deets, John.
The deets. It sounds like a weird 90s commercial.
You got the deets, John?
He got the deets. He went to Jared. I don't know.
He got the deets because he used the web.
The World Wide Web. So what do you like? I mean, only one season of Invincible thus far. But where do your allegiances and feelings fall on a show? Like if you're like it's a console war, you're a 12-year-old kid and you can only have one console for Christmas, and because you could only have the one, you become entrenched in fanboy and you have fights with kids about consoles, and it's all because there's no reason to have 2 consoles at that time, but that's why you entrench yourself, and it's a dumb fight. So it's the same thing, but you could only pick one show, and you have to live with what you choose.
Shit. Oh man, that's a hard question.
That's
a hard question.
I went hard on that setup, but just like which one do you like better, and what do you like better about one?
No. But like, no, the setup though, it does is like, oh shit, I can only exist with one, and I have to fight for it. I mean, I guess I would say, I guess I would say just because. I think I would say Invincible. But it's only because I've already watched three seasons of The Boys, and I feel like there's more opportunity to get like weirdly creative with animated stuff. Like you can like really go fucking balls to the wall with animated stuff, whereas you are limited a little bit with live action and just
I mean, off that thought, I think the action, the fighting was good mostly, but there was a lot less. Like there was action in this, but there was a lot less superhero action. Like we didn't see. Like there were so many off-screen takeoffs and landings of Homelander, for example. You never saw him flying in the air. His eye laser thing was actually, I don't think it was used at all on mortals, besides the one time that at the end.
Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah. And I don't know, there's not a lot of superhero set pieces. There's action, there's brawls, there's matchups, which is a comic book staple, you know. And it had the fun staple of like teammates fighting eventually or whatever, you know, that kind of stuff. Like it hit that stuff well. But it really was lacking a set piece. Even something as simple as Homelander flying and shooting down the plane at the end of episode 1, season 1, or even the other plane scene. You know, like it was just lacking these fun superhero set pieces that were different takes on superheroes, I guess.
Yeah.
And I mean, there's nothing I can think of really in terms of
there's really kind
season.
of only like because in the other seasons. In the other previous 2 seasons, I feel like you saw them being like nasty with their powers, and the only nasty with their powers sort of moment was the big dick thing. Granted, it was a big moment, but it was like right there in the beginning. I mean, Herogasm, I guess, too. But yeah, I think for the most part, and this is like sort of the issue. Not issue, but like anytime outside of Invincible, where it's like you get fucking super powered, like, you know, it never has the like Goku Vegeta feel where, again, just like with like with your, if you're dealing with entities of that level of power, like I feel like there's only so far you can go with live action stuff. Where it just feels like real heavy punches.
At least with TV budget, live action. Can you imagine if they put the Lord of the Rings budget into this?
Oh my gosh!
What is the boys' budget? Let's see.
There's probably maybe 5 an episode.
5, yeah.
That's what I would guess. 5
Let's
million,
see.
Maybe 10.
Wow, 12 per episode. That seems a little high for what we're seeing.
12 times 8.
I mean, that's still under 100 million for an episode. I mean, for a season.
That's not bad.
They probably have a $100 million budget.
Well, they probably have a $150 million budget with promoting and everything.
Yeah. Which Amazon gets a lot of free space though on their site. You know, their shit, their cars and boxes and all that.
That's true. It's like a monopoly or something. Or not a monopoly, but it's a big company.
Yeah.
It's not a monopoly. What is it, John? Business it for me.
Like a conglomerate? I don't know.
Okay, yeah. I don't know. That feels right. Conglomerate.
Big words for us today.
Well, something else I didn't like. I'm gonna tell you something else I didn't like. And this is I don't know. I didn't like when Butcher was like, "Fuck off, kid," and it was like essentially like old Yellered the kid, Becca's son, Ryan.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, why are you doing that?
That was just setting. Yeah, that just felt like a setup for this.
Why are you doing that? This isn't the way for this.
It wasn't natural.
This is especially given everything that Butcher had been through, both up to that point and then with Ryan, and then also like with his like revelations and shit throughout the fucking entire fucking show, I was just like, what? Huh?
Yeah. Wait, what are you saying? Sorry. the
I don't
thought
know.
just so spread out. I lost track of what you were saying.
No, it's okay. Like with all the like flashbacks to Lenny and like all this stuff, for him then to abandon and like really commit to abandoning this young superpowered boy who, if nothing else, is the next way to defeat Homelander, and to then like
Oh, yeah.
create
He's like the checks and balance. And there should be way more resources in protecting him. Like,
yeah.
I don't, it's obviously problematic and fucked, but like with the liability that Homelander is, like this kid needs to be almost like indoctrinated and brainwashed, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
As a countermeasure for this incredibly volatile and dangerous person.
Yeah.
And no, he's just hanging out with some ex-CIA lady in a homestead.
Just one lady who
Yeah,
has no powers and has no blah blah blah. And again, not that you need to have powers, I guess, but it's like, no, this is the most fucking powerful dude that you've created, and you're gonna just like vibe with it, like, and you'd be like, I guess this one dude will figure it out.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I don't know. Butcher was like all over the place for me, where he's like,
I think
he's
Butcher's
just all
writing
over
was
the-
pretty
the
weak.
Lenny episode
Like,
was fucking great.
Is that the one with his brother?
Yeah, that was the one with his
Lenny?
brother and like all that stuff. I was like, that's chill as hell.
In the Nightmare?
Yeah, in the Nightmare.
Yeah, I mean, I think that was good character development, but it also felt...
But then he didn't fucking use it, and I know that that's the point.
What also
you know?
felt like basic plot points, and like it just felt basic. Like,
Kind of places.
abusive father.
Yeah.
I think I put too much time into that and less on the relationship. Like the relationship of the brothers was there for and foremost, but it didn't.
Yeah.
It was the dad was such a driving force in that, and obviously he is. But it's just it didn't. Like I don't know. It doesn't need to be different or more creative, but it feels like I knew this story. Or like the moment I saw, I was like, all right, abusive father, cool. I don't know. And for example, Moon Knight, I think does the flashback of the childhood trauma way better.
For
Black
Noir?
No, and Moon Knight for.
Yeah. You're right.
I already forgot his name, but
Mark Spector.
I mean, here back to back. Yeah, Mark Spector, like back to back. I think those are two good. Or sorry, I think those are two recent examples of like childhood trauma flashbacks, and I think Moon Knight's an example of a good one, and the Billy Butcher one is not a bad one, but a bland one.
Yeah,
if that makes sense. So,
I agree.
And I think for something I like, this is the most meh I've talked about something, but I did like this season. Like I was looking forward to every week. I saw it actually within 24 hours easy of each release. I was about it. So
I agree.
There was a lot of good. And with that, you know, like coming back around to that first thing I pitched, like if I had to pick Invincible or this, it's hard to say. You know, for your reason, like we've had more of The Boys, so maybe you can lean on Invincible. But for me, it's like, well, we've had more of The Boys. I know what it is. And we have had less of Invincible, and I don't know what it could be, I guess.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know. I think things I like in Invincible, the animation gives it more freedom, but Invincible has really cheap animation.
I like the cheap animation.
And it is called back to like old superhero cartoons of our youth, and I don't know how much of that is intentional, but it's just too cheap in the sense like I could do some of these things, like the animation itself in After Effects in 10 minutes. You know, it's just motion graphic. Like
freaking get them, dude.
I mean, they're doing what they're doing. They're allocating a budget, which is also just interesting to me, is to watch a show and see how the budget is allocated in the way it's animated. But that show also takes that to an extreme. Like the simple parts are so simple. And then there's great parts, when Omni-Man kind of realizes I'm not going to kill my son, he kind of reels back, They like animate every frame of that movement, and it's such a little thing, but it adds a lot of texture to that. But there's just such a stark contrast, and I think the 40-minute episodes of an animation is really why that happens.
Yeah.
Which is bold and adventurous to do, is to create a animation with episodes not long. And the story does call for it, because it is that kind of story. It's not serially. It's not truly episodic. It's a larger, big story with many characters. But I don't know. I don't know where I'm talking myself into and which one I prefer.
Are you talking about the Amazon budget for Invincible, or which one are you talking about? I was looking up the budget for Invincible, and also fun fact. Michael Jackson had a studio album called Invincible that cost $30 million to make, but the Invincible per episode budget is around $10 million.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't talking like technicality. I'm more just like the concept of seeing a budget allocation as you're watching something.
Yeah.
By the type of animation, and like if it's really basic, you're like, there's gonna be a dope scene later on. I just know it. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not.
Yeah, it's like we haven't used a lot of our budget yet for this app.
Yeah, I'm not necessarily saying it looks cheap. I'm just saying it has such big extremes because the episode length.
Yeah.
And the type of action that it calls for.
Yeah, I hear you.
Stylistically, I don't love it, but I don't hate it. It's nostalgic.
You're talking about Invincible, right?
Yeah, Invincible.
Sure. Yeah,
I'm talking about Invincible, and again, but there's potential there, but
hey, listen,
I'm leaning on the boys.
No one's
actually putting a gun to her head.
No one's actually putting a gun to her head and saying you're not gonna. You have to do this,
Yeah.
I did finally getting to see some of Black Noir's story for real.
Yeah, and I liked how they started to emote him too.
Yeah,
with the hearts when he hugs Homelander, and I'm like, oh, he actually values that relationship. So
yeah, I think it's pretty. I don't know. I liked it. I thought it was good. I thought it was good vibes. Even for all the shit that I'm talking about it, I thought it was pretty good vibes.
Hey, you're the vibe doctor.
Yeah, dude, that's what I'm doing, baby.
Or Dr. Vibe?
Vibing it up. Dr. Vibe. Vibing and
when
vibe,
you show up to
baby.
a rave, it's a good rave when Dr. Vibe shows up.
Hey, Dr. Vibe's here? Dude, we're freaking going, bro.
Or you could just be a DJ. Sonically project your vibes out. Just have the best time.
Okay, I'm just making sure everybody has the best time.
You could commercialize this power in a pretty positive way. Obviously, a little capitalism, but people are gonna get good vibes. You can't really.
People are gonna get good vibes. I think absolutely. That would be definitely my front-facing superpower. I'm like, what's up? I'm Dr. Vibes. I'm here to just fucking make sure you're having a good time. And there's so many fucking. I could fucking sponsor so many things, and then I would be so good because, my memory would that would be my oh, that's the thing that they don't tell you, is that he's doesn't forget anything either. So and that would be
yeah, he has migraines.
Yeah,
that's his cross to bear. I don't know.
I don't know, something that would be a drawback, one of those drawbacks where it's
if you want to have a superhero whose weakness or whatever is a first world problem.
I just get migraines all the time. And as long as I take my medicine, I'm fine. If I watch my diet, I'm chilly as hell, bro. That would be funny. But that would be such a marketable one. That would be so marketable right there. And
I know.
It's too bad I don't have that power. I don't have real superpower. I wonder if Homelander's going to be deaf, or at least deaf in one ear.
Yeah, I feel like his balance might be knocked out.
Ooh, that'd be cool.
Well, like that felt, it felt like again that felt like something that had no consequence, at least in the near term. Like, oh fuck, and then he takes out, and he's still rocking it. So it's like, oh, all right.
It's like, I didn't like that.
Yeah, and it's okay, I guess, but all right.
What else do you like? What were your favorite moments from this season? Talk to me.
I did like the team up. I like seeing Starboy, Soldier Boy, Huey and Billy Butcher fighting Homelander. I did like the reveal and the terror. I like seeing Homelander scared for the first time in that scene. I like seeing the look like
at Herogasm.
Like, yeah, and I like seeing Billy Butcher facing off with Homelander, and Homelander really like, oh shit, and like kind of like that, like kind of not impressed, but like surprised. I don't know, just like what was he thinking? That was fun.
Yeah.
Let's say I don't know. I think for me it was performance based and character development based. So I like seeing the Deep becoming kind of just rolling back and not redeeming him. Yeah, and then I like seeing A-Train trying to get there but not.
Yeah,
that was nice. And I like just the performances and characterizations of Soldier Boy and Homelander from Jensen Ackles and Anthony Starr.
Yeah,
you know, and I think that like the actual boys or whatever.
Yeah,
all
they
the
keep trying to make
stuff were fun.
I think it's because we've seen it so much, but like Mother's Milk, like his whole.
I mean,
like,
I think they developed him probably the best. He was probably
they did a good
best
job, but
one.
I feel like we've seen that already. Like I feel like we've seen that story in the boys so much that I don't know. They've just the boys have just done so much damage to like. I mean, when I say the boys, I mean the Soups have done so much damage to people, like that. I feel like MM's sort of like story got not negated, but like as much as it built him up and like we gave him good stuff, but it was also I don't know. It didn't feel like it didn't hit as hard. None of the stuff outside of the Soldier Boy, like it felt like this is much more a Soups season, than it was about the people.
Which is ironic that there's not a lot of Soup set pieces and stuff.
Yeah, it was like a lot of Soup character development, because that was one of the things. Like one of my favorite moments was seeing fucking at Herogasm when Huey and A-Train run into each other, and then A-Train's just like, I'm fucking sorry. I'm really fucking sorry. And then I was just like, and then Huey being like, stop! Don't do that. Don't apologize. Don't make me care about you.
Yeah.
It's like, it's very funny. And like very like I was like, that's a good moment. I like that moment.
Yeah, and I think it was like it's not that easy, and it was a true testament or like touching on the fact of like, no, buddy, you got a long way to go. And I think
this is a good step.
And I think and it was a good step, but then I think he backtracked by like immediately going to kill the Blue Lives Matter guy,
Yeah.
Like obviously fuck that guy. It doesn't like good riddance, but it's just like it was the easy way, being the superhero and doing the easy thing. Which is what a
little brother said, or his older
exactly.
brother.
And that I think that I mean again that just arc was so good in terms of they're making him earn it, I guess, and that's nice because he is an asshole.
Yeah.
And
well, they're all assholes. I think that's one of the things that's important is that like they're
mm-hmm.
all assholes.
Yeah.
It was good. I liked it.
Yeah.
what did you think about fucking Todd? Ugh. Todd. You know what I'm talking about?
No, I need a refresher.
Todd is the boyfriend, the boyfriend of the stepmom or the mom, mother's milk.
Oh, that. See, that
Yeah.
I mean, it feels a little too much like anyone can have these feelings or views. I don't like.
It's
don't
always
know.
it's
Like,
always an interesting
it's not,
thing.
It's
whenever,
not rural enough.
like-
Like if maybe make him he's a teacher, right? Like maybe if he's a history teacher, I just don't see that like being a real life archetype, you know. And like I don't know if that's what it's trying to say is like anyone can have these views and stuff, but I'd rather him be more of a little bit of a caricature, and he can be a teacher, but make him a history teacher, you know, or something like that. Like a teacher in New York not being liberal is a little bit of a hard of a sell for me.
Yeah,
Like,
I guess it's
just,
funny to me
that's just the reality.
Like that's like the hard sell for you. I think that's funny to me because like to me it's like no, I mean I don't disagree with you, but I didn't think about it because what I was gonna say is that it's like it's always like a tricky balance where you're like, oh yeah, people who are involved in this one story can also be involved in this other story, and so it's like, yeah, of course, that's fine. But it also always feels like a little cheesy to me when it's like, it's Todd at the rally, at the thing at the end, who is directly connected to our other story, who is like, yeah, I'm setting it off. But it also, to me, it's like, I would probably write that scene because of like, of course, it's fucking Todd there who's doing the thing. Just because it is a little bit more interesting that way.
I was editing a rap battle we did this week or last weekend for Homelander versus Omni-Man, and I was going back through like scrubbing through other old footage from the first and second season. I don't know which, but there was like a very pro Homelander guy that dressed and looked like Todd, and it could be 100% coincidence. I don't think it was the same actor, but I wonder. Like this is so try-hardy, but like, who knows? Like it takes a little bit of effort to like fan cast this one actor that's in a couple of these shots really passionately, and like cast someone that kind of looks like him and have him wear the same kind of dad shirt. Like it was. I don't know where to find it. I'm not gonna put the effort into it, but like scrubbing through footage, you live on the frames, you know, and it was there a few times, so that was interesting. I don't know if that's truly just a coincidence, but. You know, good for headcanon to know, like, oh, Todd was at these early things, or he's always loved Homelander, you know.
I would love to do so. Like, if I ever, like, I would love to do something like that, where you set up, like, if you could cast a character in season 1 that is just there, that is like the secretary or the janitor, or, like, they're just there, someone who's at a coffee shop continuously, and then it's by season 3 that they're a major character, and, like, if you just accidentally see it, but then shoot it like they are actual background.
Yeah.
Like they don't get their like featured background shot. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, definitely. Why not? You know, or even just the opposite, like going back and finding them, and then like kind of not retconning, but like,
hey, this
it's
is
like
what's
a
been
hybrid
happening
of
the whole
retconning.
time.
Be like, I'm gonna make this person someone, and that comes back around, kind of like the Iron Man, young Peter Parker thing. Which who knows if that was on purpose or not.
I don't think that was on purpose. I think that that was them like being like, huh, yeah, let's play
But
with
for
that.
example, like that could be like something like that if that was the case, you know. But there was something I wanted to say. What
was it?
What were we just talking about? Short-term memory loss. Love it.
Short-term memory loss. We were just talking about. Fuck. What were we just talking about, bud? Mr. Memory.
Oh, the
over
extras.
here.
The extras thing.
Oh, Todd. We were talking about fucking Todd.
Yeah. I don't know. I still. It's not coming back. That's fine. Anyways, I don't know. Do you have any final thoughts before we rate this? Rate this baby.
I think be careful about watching too much satire and angry stuff because maybe it makes you angry. And I know that for me.
I mean, there's enough out there. Like, there's enough things already like upsetting us, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So, but for me, this does the opposite of that. It's like, oh,
yeah,
the world is shitty, and here's a form for me to laugh at it. I guess I don't know.
Listen, I'm not saying I agree, but I'm just it's like I
did find some reviews.
Ooh.
You want to hear some reviews?
Yeah, I want to hear some reviews. Give me some of those reviews.
5 stars from Sebastian Basado, Mejora en cada episodio.
Nice, good job.
Do you know what that means?
No, I have no idea.
I'm gonna translate it, and it didn't go. I don't know what I said. I hope I didn't say anything bad.
I hope you didn't either, bud.
Timmy T said 5 stars. Loved every episode, even the filler ones. So many storylines spread throughout, but were coherent. So many WTF OMG moments. And then we have Mr. W, who gave it a 0.5 star. And he says, series constantly has shocking things for the sake of shocking things to happen with little to no plot. Everything is for shock value, and characters act absurdly incompetent in unrealistic ways for the sake of setting up more shocking moments the average viewer can see coming a mile of the way. Subversion for the sake of subversion. Unlikable and boring protagonists with no depth. For Mr. W. He doesn't like shocking things, I guess.
Okay. All right, bud.
I'll do 2 more. Kate H says Homelander is the saving grace of this show. All the rest of the characters are posers. She sounds like she could be a Todd.
Yeah.
The way that reads. That's interesting. I don't know if that's an whole other thing, is like a lot of alt-right people realizing he's the villain and being like, what? Like,
I love that.
He's a piece of shit. Like, you guys are dumb.
You ever seen the way that he dresses? You ever see the way he hangs out with milk? He's way too weird with that milk.
Like, I already thought you were dumb. You were just proving it. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's insane. I'm trying to find there's a lot of Spanish reviews. It's interesting. This is a 3 star. Let's see. The good. Anthony Starr and Carl Urban in particular are awesome. The bad. The screenwriters have taken great comic book and turned it even more, or have taken a great comic and turned every event into an opportunity to take shots at conservative Republicans in the most infantile ways. The ugly, Seth Rogen takes every opportunity to turn into it his own perversion propaganda platform. I didn't know that was this review was going that way. I just picked 3 star. But
you started there.
Just talking like speaking of the devil.
Jeez,
Jesus,
bud.
I need to find a 3 star that isn't politically.
That's so crazy to me that they're like yeah, fuck you, Brandon, and they're like, wait a second, hold on, come on again with this satire shit. We get how do we get fooled again?
There's a 2. Oh, this one's a little long. Here's my final review. 5 stars from Stewie C. The series is awesome. Blood, gore, exploding heads, snake dicks, you name it. It's got it. Yeah. Best show in the last few years. From Stewie C. Dang, I guess I should be surprised by the politically charged, like, butthurt stuff. Oh, it's so fun.
Is there a lot more of it?
It's so fun. Yeah, it's around. This one's, like, incoherent. I'll read it just because if I can find it.
Yeah.
They can't write. They can't. Too unsubtle, caricatural, and Manichean, this time regarding politics. The last minute says it all. It's too bad because the rest of the story is pretty good. From Alice. Caricature. I'm gonna send you this, and let's see what this lady is trying to say.
Send me this.
I don't like. Is she trying to say machinations? Like a?
Let me look at it. Machinations or whatever.
Machinations, yeah. I think that's what she's trying to say.
Too unsubtle caricature and Manicheans.
This time regarding
too unsubtle,
politics.
caricatural, which isn't a word, I don't think. Whatever. Manachine.
I'm gonna see what else she's reviewed.
Hold on, Manachine. What is Manachine regarding politics? The last minute say it all. It's too bad because the rest of the story is pretty good. So I guess the question that I would have to all is like, why? Like that is the place of art. Like why why does that affect how good the story is if they're making a comment on
I can disagree and still
politics.
live in the world. Maybe I might change my view on the show and the showrunners, but like I don't like that's just being butthurt. But she gave Moon Knight season 1 1.5 stars, Miss Marvel season 1 2 stars, and then Obi-Wan a star and a half. And this is unrelated, but I just want to see. I don't know. Fuck this person. I want to see what they say about things. And she says, awful plot, so many inconsistencies, bad characters who are so dumb just for plot convenience, and the sword troopers reach a level of uselessness so high that it breaks the suspension of disbelief. Well, she can write now. The motives of Riva are ridiculous. Attacks that should kill or severely injure do nothing. Even if fire doesn't burn the skin of Obi-Wan. I hope it will really flop this time because it's CW level of garbage.
Manachine.
Yeah, that's all I need to say is you make up words.
Well, I'm not like, it's just like, what is that word? I still don't know what that word is.
I think machinations. Like it's a machinations? Like, I can't say it right now. Jesus.
Like but too unsubtle, caricatural, and Manachine. Machinations. Manachine! Watch out for the Manachine! Here the Manachine come. So yeah, what do you give this sweet movie?
I give this season. Gotta passive aggressively correct you in my response.
Thank you. I appreciate
it. I give it 3.5 stars.
Okay.
For obviously all reasons stated to this point. What about you?
I'll give it 3.5. I'll give it 3.5 stars as well. Maybe 3 stars.
First time in the history that we have agreed.
Yeah, more or less. I mean, we're always like a little close, but yeah.
The only thing I've watched was the new Netflix movie, The Sea Beast. It's like people are raving it. They're calling it the best animated movie of the year.
Oh.
I watched it and I liked it. It looked amazing on my TV, but it was. I mean, Turning Red is way better.
Okay.
It's a simple. I don't know. It's simpler. I think it's more fun for the whole family. I think it's not going to piss off any Christian families. But I don't know. I think Turning Red was a better movie.
Turning Red did it for you.
Yeah, I think it
Turning
did a
Red
good
was.
job.
I watched Bringing Out the Dead, an old Martin Scorsese, Nicolas Cage flick from 1999 that would have done a lot better now, I think, if it was put out. And then I watched Blade Runner 2049. I went on a little Denis Villeneuve, excuse me.
Denis Villeneuve. Yeah, they're starting to talk about the new movie.
Yeah, they're starting
like the production of it. So
yeah,
this is pretty exciting.
Yeah, so I went on a little Denis kick where I'm watching Arrival, Blade Runner 2049. I forgot that he made Arrival. And
me too. That movie kind of came and went. It was like kind of a big deal, but no one actually.
I think it was a pretty big deal. I think did it win Oscars, or did it just get nominated?
I think it was a big deal, but I think in terms of like the mass public when they watched it.
Yeah, it was definitely more of an Oscar movie.
This wasn't too dope for me. That one movie with Natalie Portman, I saw it passively. It seemed more interesting. It's not like the same movie, but it's the same kind of mysterious alien vibe. Annihilation.
Annihilation? Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's Alex Garland. That's a weird one.
So what have you seen? What else? There was one more, right? But there's one more.
I just said that. I thought I just said that.
No, you're right. No, I lumped them together. I thought I thought I just heard the Scorsese one, then I realized you did the Villanueva.
Yeah. And
man,
yeah, I'm excited for Dune Part 2.
I've been painting miniatures and gluing them together. I think the glue and all that stuff, the fumes are frying my brain or something.
Ooh, man, yeah, that short-term memory is going.
Yep. Awesome.
Watch out, bud.
Love it.
Woo!
Yeah, but thank you guys for listening and hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out, talking with us, being cool.
Yeah. I will. I forgot to make the shirts half off. I'm going to do that now after this call.
Yeah.
After this podcast, so that you guys can snatch those up because no one's bought one in like 6 months, so they need to go.
They need to get out of here.
Love it.
Come on.
Love it. Love it.
Love them. Love you. Hey, as they say in New York City, they often say to a rat, there is a different type of cheese that makes it go weak in the knees. Watch your B's, watch your P's, and watch your Q's, because you never know what you could do if you had a little bit of green juice in the morning. Elizabeth Holmes, Theranos, making money. Isn't it funny? Ooh, New York City, baby. Yeah.
It's a good haiku.
Yeah, that was definitely a haiku. Only 3
All right,
lines
that's
there.
what they say in New York City.
That's what they say in New York City. Goodbye. Ah!